So yeah, we are playing a Tactics Evolved, which recently has been re-released. It's pretty similar to every other season, really, pretty similar to a Kings of Men in the map and etc. But a couple of differences in that you can now elite train your units, which means you can kind of give an extra skill to your units, which can be beneficial in getting them a little bit stronger. I remember when this first came out, it was a little bit broken, but nowadays I think the skills are a little bit lesser, so they're not quite as broken. I'm actually going to go with the Numenor men, I think, because I want to try using the tier 2 knights for my farming, so I'm going to go with those. But where have we spawned here then? So we've spawned top right Iron Hills, kind of right near Eastern Hills, and near Carnan Vale as well. I don't really know what this is like for resources, but we have got a lot of mountains and things like that. We do have an early neighbour here in Galax. But let's get the essentials underway. Let's get things building. As of course, until we've got an apothecary, I don't really want to send on a march. So let's get all these built. I do also need to log in and buy my construction queue, and I'm going to be doing that on mobile so that I can use my my creator code. So if any of you are starting your new season and you want to get the consumables, my creator code will be down in the description, so feel free to do it. Anyone who's played with me in the past, it's in the description of most of my videos, and also usually announced on Discord as well. And that does normally get a good discount for me, converting from GBP to the dollar. I get about a 20% discount on that because of the conversion rate, so it is worth doing if any of you haven't used this in the past. So yeah, I recommend using the creator code to save yourself a little bit of money, if anything else. Build the commander chamber so I can now put 2 formations in my army, which is what I've been kind of waiting for. Next one's available when we get to barracks level 7, which I don't think we're going to do in a hurry without taking tiles. As you can see, we've already started hitting somewhat of a bottleneck, so we do need to start taking tiles, so we'll have to put our armies together. So first up is going to be Dane with Gandalf the White. We're going to put 1 troop on Dane here. So the reason for this being is I'm then going to use Gandalf the White as my kind of focus and my tank as well. So Dane here is built with with a Warcry damage set, and I'm also going to peel some of the gear off my Sauron because it gives unit defense as well as focus, which I think will be really useful. Just keep making those troops as tanky as possible. Just giving him a little bit of unit defense, making him that little bit more tanky while still keeping high focus, so it's useful for of course White Council, which is the first skill we're going to maximise. Appreciate I'm wasting time talking through all this. Skill order for Dane to get maximum damage. I believe it's Durin's Blood first, so you get that 10% skill damage. But actually thinking about it, I probably would rather round 1 skills here. So actually I'll put 1 in there first, and then I'll max King Under the Mountain. Then whether I do Durin's Blood or I do Ironfoot, because Ironfoot could be quite useful for getting that stun in early round, getting that little bit of crowd control. Now our second formation will likely use the same gear that's on Sauron and Gandalf, Gandalf the White and Dane, and then just come across. So we'll probably just be switching the gear around all the time. So we will end up using Sauron and King of Men, and then of course we've got a ton of other ones, and we'll always be gear switching in between from chapter progression. Build a horseman stable. So actually this is quite important, and whilst I guarantee you guys in the chat are going to think this is controversial, I'm actually going to be using the tier 2 knights over the tier 2 soldier. Whilst they're a little bit more expensive resource wise, I'm looking to use them. Reason being is I want to test how effective they are for farming with the counter system. I probably shouldn't have done that second one there, as it's not actually needed at the minute as a bit of a resource waste, so definitely don't follow me there. But yeah, I want to try using the tier 2 knights and then combining it with the clairvoyance ring skill and seeing what happens, and see if I can get some synergy there, and see if I can get effective farming by getting the counter system going up against small units. Previously I've used obviously small units, and countering against large can still be tough, as large units have huge HP pool and you know, still can do a lot of damage, so they survive a little bit longer. So yeah, I'm looking to use medium units and see if I can kind of exploit the counter system a little bit to get minimum troop loss and maximum damage. So that's what I'm testing this season. And then actually we're going to then go straight to this, so we can now put 3 in our army, which is awesome. Right, now we do have a ring level as well, which we're going to immediately put into invigoration. Reason being is that ring skill points are of course a diminishing resource, and we don't want to be stuck maximized at 20, so I'm going to immediately use 3 of them to push Dane up to 286, and we're going to have to keep a little bit of an eye on him to make sure he doesn't hit maximum stamina at any point. But now with Serdan's army, the mighty Serdan, kind of ready, do we think he can take the 30? I guess we should. Let's kind of find out. Serdan the tank with 1 troop Lothar and 1 troop Lurtz. Let's see how it goes. And we can also get the market built as well, which is great because it can of course help alleviate resource bottlenecks and keep us developing. So now we've got a draw. So a draw isn't actually that bad of a thing, and actually Lothar and Lurtz didn't even die, which is surprising. But draws are usually not too bad, as I said, if your commander dies, he'll come back within the draw timer during your first 24 hours. So if you get a draw, you can guarantee these 2 are going to come back and should then deal enough damage for us to take that tile. The only downside, of course, is we do have to wait 4.5 minutes for it to time out. So we're going to take the opportunity to look through early leaderboard rankings. So what have we got? Let's start with fellowships and see who we have. So of course we have home, my fellowship. Or will be my fellowship when I get accepted in. And then we have Darm in Ferodwaith. So I believe this is Chris. It is. So these were one of the 2 fellowships, if anyone kept up with my prior season. So Darm is part of the Lothlorian team that won our previous season. So you'll see here his last season was indeed a Renowned Conqueror title. Then we have Burn, who are also in the Iron Hills. And this is K-Bar 69. So this was the team that was in Gondor on our previous season, and they were called Luna. So they'll be they've spawned in the same area as us, and will be working alongside us. We have Mine, who are also in Ferodwaith. So they are going to be teamed up with Chris and Darm, and they are the other Gondor Fellowship that were in our prior season. Then we have Crow, who I don't think I've come across before, but they excuse me, they are spawned in the White Mountains. And then we have a couple of other fellowships just starting up. Of course, it's very early, so we don't know who's starting when. You'll quite often get fellowships starting a little bit late, particularly servers that start at this time, as you'll have, you know, players that are kind of their night, so you'll have a lot of people. Personal production wise, who started quickly early? We've got CC, Chris, of course, Hector. There's quite a few people here. Of course, this will very quickly shift around early season as people move up to higher power tiles a lot quicker. I want to try and get these knights as soon as possible, as I want to try and use them and their counter buff. In fact, I'm actually going to conscript a very small number of these horsemen for that exact reason. And I want to use their counter buff on my damage dealers, so that, well, potentially even on my tank as well. So we get that 10% bonus damage and 10% less damage received, which can make a difference when doing this kind of 1 troop method, which should be fine. So whilst I don't have knights, I'm going to try it with this tier 1 as well. And then I'm going to combine that with the clairvoyance skill. So a lot of people are going to say waste of a ring point, but again, it's a new season, I'm just going to give it a test. So the clairvoyance skill has changed now, so it no longer uses up your ring power points. So clairvoyance now is free, and you can use it once every 5 seconds. So I think that's going to be a useful way for scouting very easily at the cost of 1 ring point, and I think at the 1 skill point. Sorry. And the only thing that will really cost me is when we then move across to the ring level 10 skill tree, I'll be able to take gather, but I won't be able to put as many points into enormous power, so I'll be a little bit behind on ring skill points. But I think what I'll get back from that is a lot less troop loss, which I think will be pretty essential in my opinion. I think if I can keep troop loss down, that'll actually save me a lot of resources. So I'm going to give that a go. So you can't run a full formation all using one troop. You have to keep your kind of power level above 800. I don't know if right at the beginning you don't have to do so, as I'm not getting the high and dry message here, but once you hit a certain level of tile, you'll get the high and dry effect, which will basically mean your commanders and your troops will die exceptionally quickly. But so what I'm doing instead is I'll put a full command of troops on my tank commander, who will lose the least number of troops to get me above that 800 mark, and then I'll run one troop on my damage dealers, and they can then use their HP to take the tiles. So for example, what I did here was Serdan has the full command of troops, as he'll lose a lot less than Lothar and Lurtz would, and then Lothar and Lurtz, I just used their HP pool. And everyone's leveled up. Serdan's already at level 8. So the reason Serdan's XP is higher than everyone else's is I think when your troops hit nil, you stop getting experience. But for that, I don't mean if they died first round, they don't get any experience beyond that round. I mean, during this draw, all three commanders will have got 2,232 XP. However, on the victory note, the extra 960 XP, because the troops are dead on these two, they don't get that 960 XP. Only Serdan does. So that is the one downside of using this method. So similar here, all three of these will have got 2,676 XP. However, the couple of hundred from the post-draw conclusion will only go to Serdan, unfortunately. Right, and then we'll get sweeping as well. So let's find some level 6 mobs somewhere. There's got to be at least one. Get them going. Yeah, sweep went fine. You see this nearly no loss as well, even with a counter. Main benefit is we get that extra grain in as well. And a couple of speed ups, I suppose, as well. Serdan to hit his nice early draw again. Oh my god, what's going on? Oh, I didn't swap gear over. No, what am I doing? I'm flopping at the minute. Absolutely flopping. Right, fellowship boosts. We are going to waste a little bit of our grain in order to get these members in. Total fellowship warband contributions. This is another one of those ones where you think, oh, I'm wasting my grain by donating, and hesitate to donate. You definitely always should, because it benefits your fellowship. You can get more players in, you'll get closer to the store that little bit sooner, but you also get this season challenge, 5,000 stone. So you get your 5,000. You get your grain back that you used for donating and some, but you also get 5,000 stone as well. And then you can keep getting this contribution up because there's more available as you go along, and you can keep getting that contribution by just doing more and more sweeps, which is the way I'd normally do so. So I'm going to go one troop with that. So what I was saying about with clairvoyance and things like that is I can essentially now every 5 seconds clairvoyance tiles and find out what armies are on there. Obviously for 30s and 40s it's a little bit pointless, but I can look and see and go, oh, maybe I don't want to fight this guy with fortitude. Maybe I'd rather fight... Yeah, it's got fortitude as well, but you know what I mean? If they've got mounted troops or they've got more difficult troops, I can look and I can face off against that, which is... if it's using medium units, I can pick ones that have smaller units, so I always have that counter buff, basically. Mobs level 6. There's the next one. After a couple of these, I'll move on to level 10s. I think level 6 mobs, I think these, if you sweep them, I'm pretty sure they give 5,000 stone tips or 10,000 iron tips. We'll find out, obviously, as I go along, but that can make a huge difference to, of course, to our resource bottlenecks as well. The next thing for resource bottlenecks as well is I do, of course, have the tattered resource cart. Serdan took that 30. Well, you can see what the counter boost did. It pushed that damage up. So we've got, what, 6,700 and 8,520. Oh, no, that was with no gear. Last time it was, yeah, 6,000, 6,000. So we're getting that massive boost in damage, which is what I think those medium units are going to give us, and they're going to give us less and less draws. So we should be able to step up tiles pretty heavily here as well. So we're now going to start taking a look at these 40s. I am still going to be, try and be a little bit diligent, and I'm going to use perseverance because I don't want to hit any that have, particularly tough commanders. So I get their bandits and stuff like that, but I don't want to hit ones that have medium units. So this one looks pretty easy. I don't know what the bowman's skills are, but that should be perfectly doable for our Serdam. And we want to try and get these guys leveled as high as possible before Dane hits that max stamina level. Reason being is I would then like to chuck Dane in with a couple of these guys in order to get him attacking maybe a 60 power tile on his next hit, so that he gets that bonus XP from fighting the 60 power tile. So how does Serdam do on the 40 power tile? Pretty ridiculously well, actually. How close were they? I wouldn't expect them to take it immediately, and they weren't even close to losing HP. I reckon I might be a little bit over leveled for this, particularly now I've got the counter system going in. So this clairvoyance thing is definitely paying off at the moment. It might help us claw back some of those lost troops we did from flopping tiles earlier on. I think if we claim this, our grain is going to hit maximum. So we will use I think we might use the market just to tap off a little bit of that grain. And of course we're getting grain from our sweeps as well. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of that grain to increase our stone volume. So what do we got on our market? I'm going to take all of these. So I think I will level up my market a few times. So now we have that 50% resource trade rate, and we'll get more market stuff tomorrow. So let's go for it. We'll just smash through those speed ups. Right. So now we've got a 50% trade rate. We'll get a little bit better rate on stone. So we will use some of that there to kind of. Well, we do have another tip in here. Oh, there we go. So we get 5,000 stone tip, and that's what I was talking about with the level 6 mobs and why they're so important. Is I can now get 5,000 more stone straight off the bat just from that sweep. So we're going to do as many of those as we can, as often as we can. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to see if Serdam can do a 60. First off, we're going to find one we counter, obviously. Let's try a nice tier 160. Right, so this has got Rangers and it's got Perseverance. I'm not a fan of Haldir. I actually think that Ames will laugh at me for this. Actually, Haldir on tiles is quite difficult. He can deal quite a lot of damage, so we're going to try and find a commander that doesn't deal a lot of damage, just to give us the best possible chance. So this is a gore bag, and he's using sappers, which, I think they're not too bad, to be honest. That might be the tile we take. Or we've got Grima with pikemen, and he's got thick armor set. What did Gorebag have? Warcry. Oh, not even a full set. Not a full set there either. So maybe I'll go for the Grima one. That looks like a pretty easy tile. Right, let's give it a go. This again might be another flop moment. Right, how did Serdam do here? So we got a draw, and that's our 60 power tile. Got a draw, and a good draw at that. So he did do big damage. I have to wait 5 minutes for that to tick out. I'm going to accelerate that by using a little bit of resource from here, because those knights, we have nothing conscripting at the minute, and those knights are kind of the cornerstone of what I'm trying to do to start this season. Is obviously, as I said, using that counter buff. So my 2 damage dealers are going to use horsemen, because they'll still get the counter buff, and one troop is one troop. It's not going to make a difference what the one troop is. However, I want my tank to use the knight, because I think they're defensively strong, and again, benefiting from the counter buff will make a big difference. I like the knight as well because I like the full protection skill. 10% less melee damage is great, along with 2% less damage, and in general they have good HP and good defense, so I think they'll be really, really useful. And I think that will start to pay dividends when I get towards those higher, like 90, 130 power tiles, and I'm using the counter every time, making sure I'm always countering and resetting tiles. Using that clairvoyant skill, I think that's going to come in clutch, but we'll see. Right, we've got a draw. How are we doing? Yeah, we'll get that perfectly at the end of the draw. And so you see, so Dane, for cost of 20 stamina, if we'd taken like a 30 power tile, probably would have gone up 1 level. Chucking him in here to use his stamina and getting a 60 power tile will get him up to level 9, so a nice big boost of experience, which is nice to see. Right, those 60s are getting done pretty easily. Oh, see, that's what we're trying to dodge. That's why we're using clairvoyance. Every 1 in 5 there'll be one with trolls, and if we're using medium units on our damage dealers, we definitely do not want to be hitting trolls. And what have we got on these 3 here? So we have Ori with small units, Gallbag with small units, and Ori with small units. So those 3 are ripe. But the benefit of this method, of course, is all I'm losing is I'm losing a small number of these tier 1 militia, and at some point I will switch over to those knights I've been conscripting, and then I won't lose, I'll lose a very minimal number. In fact, I'll probably do that when I switch to the 90s. Yeah, and I'm not losing anything on my main troops, so it means I don't have to spend a ton of resources on that conscription. There we go, ring level 5 as well, which does allow us to get another point in dominance. Not that it matters, we're absolutely nowhere near our tile threshold. Of course, these are the season start bonuses, as we all know. Recovery time for heavily wounded commanders, that's brilliant. That's what I mean when I say when you get that draw on the first 24 hours, you kind of needn't worry about it a lot of the time, as your commanders will... It takes 1 minute basically for your commanders to come back with HP, and normally by the time the draw 5 minutes has gone by, your commander will be at pretty decent HP. Commander stamina plus 100. And this is what I was just talking about, in that you won't collide basically with opposing commanders. I think you can switch this off. If you attack deliberately another opponent's army, I think it turns this off for you. So then you'll keep colliding with them, so whoever's got that merit there is now going to keep colliding with those around them. But we are looking for small units with a commander that's not going to deal a huge amount of damage. That probably would have been perfect without the spearmen. Boromir here I don't mind too much. He does have a little bit of damage with this high white tower, but he is using a Law of the... They all have a Law of the Arcane set, which is pretty perfect, so won't boost very much. So that might be the one we go for. Still got 200 stamina on this Radagast. It's quite fun actually. He's just been sweeping all day, and because it only takes 10 stam, he's actually just bottering round, picking up that little bit for us every time. Because we're not getting any grain anymore, which is a little bit of a shame. We're not keeping up those resources, but we are giving fellowship contribution, so we are levelling up our fellowship, and also getting that little bit of experience. Little bit here and there that's useful. Levels him up, so maybe if we decide to try and take a tile with him later on, we can. And there's almost no downside to this at the minute, because as you can see, we're losing no troops. And of course, the main benefit being that we get these lovely stone speed ups that we adore, because that's now 15k worth of speed ups, 25k in total over the last couple of hours. 25k extra stone, that's huge. Especially when I'm only producing 5k an hour. 5 hours extra worth of stone, or several ring points worth of gathers. And these sweeps are the thing keeping us running at the minute. Oh, we did lose. Oh, we did lose quite badly. Go, Frodo and Sam. I was worried about that happening, so quite rightly so. Doesn't matter, Frodo and Sam will take the tile. Did still use the stamina on Sauron, and did still get a couple of levels up, so it's definitely not wasted. I did think the problem is Círdan, I think, was carrying that last formation. Swapping out a level 17 for a level 6 is never going to be a great idea. But we are going to go for it. So we know we're going to counter. We've got knights on. Need to make sure we put gear on. And then I think we should be good for this 90. With only level 10 Dane. That's the only thing I'm worried about, is that I don't think level 10 Dane is going to do enough here. Oh, easy peasy. Wow, that was so much easier than I expected. I mean, the counter... I think this clairvoyance and using the counter system really is starting to pay dividends at this point. There's no way we do that without the counter buff. No way. Both commanders still alive. Dane hasn't died. 18k is not bad from a level 10 either. There's loads of 90 stone down here. I'd rather prioritise stone than wood, as obviously that's our bottleneck at the minute. The main thing we need to do is increase our power, because we're nowhere near ring level 10 and our power's been low for a while. Anyone with trolls, ugh. So I'm not a fan of Faramir because this incursion skill does quite a lot of damage actually, and he's got the flay set, so I'm going to dodge that one as well. And then we've got Ugthak as well. Jeez, we are not getting what we want here. Right, we've got some wood tiles. I'll take them if I have to. I don't appear to be given a lot of choice at the minute. It's annoying I'm limited how many armies I can have. Like, just let me create a load of, you know, tile reset armies. In fact, I might do that. I'm going to disband Frodo and Sam for now. And I'll bring them back when I need more tiles taking. Yeah, I'm just going to throw more commanders I'm not going to use. With one troop on them, I should probably use those rather than those mounted troops. And just go around resetting all these tiles. Also, if you're enjoying what you see, please drop a like and please consider subscribing for, you know, seeing more of my content in the future. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in as well. I am slowly but surely getting along with my season. I'm creeping up the leaderboard little by little, using this kind of quite efficient method. I'm trying to use clairvoyance along with tier 2, medium units to basically exploit the counter system to get the most efficient PvE. That's my theory anyway, and it seems to be going okay so far. It's slow setting up, but we're in 30th and we haven't even got our kind of main team really running yet. Still got almost full stamina, so we're doing quite well. So you can see how much stone we're about to get 10k more stone, and we've got another one here as well. It's beautiful. 20k stone currently sat in our amongst all our tips, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, we need 120k sadly for the next main haul to get us going, but you know, still moving. But yeah, I think so from these level 6 mobs you get those 5k stone, which is what I'm looking for. However, I think from the level 10s you can also get I think you can get 10k iron, which isn't too bad either, so I think I might start hitting some of those at some point. Because if I do, I'm not 100% sure, but I think on a previous season I got 10k iron, which if you do, and I've got the 50-50 exchange in the market, that's still a lot of, you know, that's still the same amount of stone, but hitting a higher level mob. The only difference is I will lose more troops. But of course they're more frequently found around my keep. Bang! One hit! We love that. None of this drawing and waiting around. That's why we love these Ori tiles so much. 9k of XP straight away. Everyone gets leveled up. Everyone is happy. It is the most efficient method. Sadly, I think this is the most efficient method. Is to clairvoyance and find easy tiles, counter them, hit the counter, and you save a huge ton of troops. One of the most important things I think that we need to do in this first 24 hours is going to be to make sure we get a high power tile, a 200 power tile within us. So it could even be this one here, me and Faust team up maybe. The reason is that your whole fellowship now can gather from fellowship members' tiles. So if someone gets a 200, everyone can gather from it. So if you in the first 24 hours can get between your fellowship a 200 of all types of resource, that makes an enormous difference to gathering and sweeping and, well, gathering. And everyone then has more resource. Everyone benefits off, you know, one of two of you grouping up and teaming up and taking the tile. So that's going to be my kind of intention for this first 24 hours, is going to be to try and get one of those done. So only one damage dealer this time. Might not be enough damage, but I'm hoping, you know, White Council should help Sauron take a few less troop losses, and Lutz should do enough damage. That's what I'm praying. Where are we now? We are taking these 90, so we have jumped almost up into the top 20 now, which is pretty crazy. So top 20, and we've barely used our main team. 200 stam, and we've still got, probably want to use an invigoration soon, and we've got tinctures as well for all of them. King of Men's at 240, Sauron 260, Gandalf the White 280. So we've barely used our main team and we're nearing the top 20. Couple of 90 tiles, get them leveled up, we'll be nearing 130 power tile. The main thing we want to do is get our ring powers sped up so that we can get gather. Because if we can get gather, we can then get stone, which will allow us to build main hall 6, 60k off at the minute. With main hall 6 we can then keep pushing our barracks up to 11. If we can get barracks 11, we can then get commanders 3. So we want 4 commanders in our army, and then as soon as we do that, we'll be flowing. We'll be absolutely flow state, taking 130s everywhere. That's the point where we accelerate. And if we can do that, I suspect towards the end of the day, or end of the 24 hours, so tomorrow morning, we may be able to take a 200. I think we've been efficient enough at the beginning that should be possible. Taken nice and easy. Not actually that much loss, so I think I was wrong to be scared of the spear throwers. Big chunk of resource, lovely jubbly. 2 of these, and as I said, we're now going to have to start thinking about whether we take a 130 power tile. Do have one right in front of us that we could reset repeatedly until we find a nice one. Commanders are also levelling up, lovely. Serdan, of course, hit level 20, which is what unlocked that season progression. Where are we? We are top. Come 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so this will be 2 UTC. But yeah, there's the leaderboards here, and you can see people's commander levels. So whereas our highest is 20 in the mighty Serdan, funnily enough, Thor Anderson is using a Serdan as well, which is fun. And having a good time with it. The top is Bjorn and mine, who's using his Dane, so we can actually check out what commanders they've got. It's got a nice gear set on it as well, with Fortitude on his axe and helm. 213 attack at level 21 is not bad at all. Fully strengthened axe as well. Also using another very nice Beorn, so very strong player here. Gandalf the White as well, using classic Scout's Mail. I'm not sure I'd bother with this stuff in PvE. I would just go high focus, I think, for PvE, as you don't really need the initiative in PvE. Of course, next up is Cull, who we saw earlier taking a 130 a couple of hours back. Very strong again. The problem with all of this, of course, is that if the commanders they have are a lot higher respect, a lot higher geared than mine. So I am a little way behind this, sadly. But that's not to say it's not doable. It definitely is doable. Sai appears to be using Gil Galad and the Elven Star by the looks of it. Quite a few mine players up in here as well, doing very well. Rain as well appears to be using Dwarven Star with Falgin, and a very, very nice Falgin at that. Ascended Falgin is probably the best tank in the game at the minute, and it looks like he's only going to get better in PBE. Did Sauron lose? He did lose. It's disappointing. Oh well, there's only tier 1 troops, so I wasn't too bothered. I did suspect that was going to be too low number of tier 1s, but I thought I'd give it a try. Let's go for it. Let's see what we get. Again, crossed fingers and toes for me, everyone. See what we can get going, but we're hoping that between Dane and Lurtz they can do enough damage, and Serdan's going to need to pull a healing trick out the bag as well. If I had Radagast here, this would be perfect. Oh, and we failed. Oh, and we failed badly. Wowee. Yeah, I knew it was going to be too soon. I didn't realise. I thought we'd do maybe 3/4 of it, but yeah, nowhere absolutely near. I know we did it low troops, but I thought we'd do significantly better than that. Not ideal. Again, we just have to wait until we have more troops available. Or spend all our stuff on healing and go again. Do we just commit now we're there? I don't think we've got the resource to be able to do this. I think even if I heal all of those troops, we're nowhere near enough to make me want to do this, I don't think. Because that's a very similar position to where we were a moment ago. The other option, of course, is this. And then we increase both of these. Screw it, we've tried it once now. Let's go twice. How long do I need for them to recover? And Serdan's low on stamina. Disaster class for me there. That's going to cost me a hell of a lot in resource. So whether I spend those 3 ring points to get one more hit with Serdan. I've already used 1 tincture on him. Screw it, we're going to do it. We're going to roll the dice. We're just going to try and wait until a point where we can send Serdan and then send Sauron straight after. That was a disaster. And this second hit's probably going to be an even bigger disaster. But we're just desperately trying to get over this hump of the stupid season progression. And that's the problem with the 1 troop method, is I haven't been conscripting any troops, so I just don't have enough troops to hit a tile. So I'm just waiting for these to chug through, but I can't be bothered to wait 15 minutes. We might have to after this. Three minutes till that resets. At about 2 minutes I'll send again, I think. So yeah, lots of people are taking 90s very easy now. I'm surprised that went so poorly. So Dane only did 3k. He must have died nearly instantly. Is Dane alive here? Yeah, no, Dane died straight away. Every one of their attack targets must have been on Dane. Yeah, it was. Dane, Serdan. They basically just absolutely hammered Dane. So I've now spread out my troops a little bit more in the hope that spreading them out like that will keep those damage dealers alive, in theory. Because that's why it was so shockingly bad, is Dane died near instantly, so I didn't even get 1 big hit from him. I know I haven't got the best HP gear, but damn. I didn't expect it to drop that badly. In fact, Witch King's going to have to do without his gear here. Because I would quite like that refined one more time. Are we going to get zeroed once again? I suspect we might do. This could be an absolute fool's errand here. Oh, there we go. We can get it. Right, let's finish that. Quickly swap Sauron to have those. Go, 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 go. And then I need to swap Sauron to have gear. I need to do all this as quickly as humanly possible. Sauron, who is it? Lothar needs this. Where is it there? I think that's probably too slow. This might even fail again. Come on. Nope, there we go. Cool. Used up a bit more stamina than we would have liked, definitely. Very, very wasteful there. Very wasteful. We could definitely have done that 100 times better if we'd just been patient and waited for our troops. But, we move. And now we're desperately trying to get resources back up so that we can build commander's chamber here, so we can get 4 in our armies and potentially then move on to 130 power tiles. And now I am absolutely resource strapped here. Not in a good place. But we will call these 2 back after this and see what we can do as far as making a formation, see how many troops we've got. Probably take a few 90s to get levelling up. Maybe even build a second formation, get that levelling up. is there's going to be a ton of damage reduction. We've got ring level 10. We've got ring level 10. Nobody panic. Oh, do we waste 2 skill points on stone and wood gathering? I don't think we do. I think we just pump it into ring points. Boop. Got the draw. Nice. Yeah, that'll take it after the draw. Do not do full troops. No, I haven't been doing full troops all day, Kaz. Unless that was sarcastic. We've been one trooping on everyone other than our main tank. So we're just leaning on the HP of our commanders. So White Council didn't really matter too much. And Sauron's got so much tank gear that our knights have 126 defense. So they're not taking anything. Oh, sorry, it was Carl who said not doing full troops. Yeah, I'm doing one troop on everyone, full troops on our tank with 126 defense. So if his troops get hit, he's not going to lose many anyway because their defenses are so high. Which is why I use White Rider. I might even switch back to White Rider again in future, but I think for now White Council might be better while we're using more than one troop. You of course have to use troops on at least one commander to get out of the high and dry state. If you use one on everyone, you'll be the high and dry state and you'll lose everyone. They'll all just die instantly. But we're finally there. We've been waiting about an hour for this. Beautiful free up of resources. Alrighty, we are back. So you'll see previously on the clock just in the corner, it is now 8 o'clock. So I am going to go for a 200 power tile. You can see on the screen here the armies that I've kind of lined up for myself. I think that they're decent enough. You can see I still have my boost at the minute. I've got around 5 minutes left of my 24-hour boost, as I was a little bit slow yesterday setting up, getting ready for the server. So I did waste about 5 minutes chatting through the server before I even started. The benefit of this, of course, is that when I hit the tile, that recovery time for heavily wounded commanders will be 90% down. So if I do die and need to send a second time, I will have my commanders back a lot quicker because of that. So I'm just kind of sending, praying, hoping for luck. I have built up quite a number of knights ready for this. You'll see we do also have quite a big open gap of tiles. We still can hold another 10 or so tiles. So yeah, not doing too badly at all. Quick spoiler when I show later on, we are actually top of production by quite a long way at the minute. Oh, great. So you'll see this hit. So this is my hit here. You'll see we did get down to almost completely taking the tile. Tiny bit left on our army, tiny bit left on the tile. But once this draw comes out, we should take this pretty easily. Obviously, any wounded commanders will come back, so we should take it easily. Well, 190 versus 179. Do I risk it, or do I just send a second army? That's the debate. But yeah, it's not too bad at all. You see, we do get the counter buff as we did. Just sending the reports over now. We did get the counter buff as we did look for a tile that kind of suited us best. You'll see the commanders on here. I'm not a big fan of the pikemen because they have this anti-cavalry one, but the commanders on there you'll see are reasonably decent commanders, all using small units pretty much. Commanders I've found to not be particularly strong, so we do have a strong counter on them there. And also the gear that was on them wasn't great either. It was all kind of Lore of the Arcane style gear, so it's all pretty takeable. I decided that was the one I was going to go for. You'll see a couple of the other tiles around here. There are ones with small units, but quite often they're second armies and small units as well. This one here isn't too bad. You can see full healing gear on reasonably decent commanders. I'm not a huge fan of Zegrid or Lothar, but again, both of those are small units, so we might go and take this one after, but it's probably better that we don't take stone after and move on to a different resource. So I think we're just going to wait out the 3 minutes here, because that tile is pretty much dead. Even with low troops on our commanders, the HP should be enough to kind of tick this down and take it. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So here we go. Let's see if we get this tile. We should do. I haven't sent another commanders. I'm pretty confident we will get it. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Have taken it. So we end above 7,500 power production. Obviously, we've just gone beyond the 24 hours in doing so there. But that does put us up to 7,610 power. I accidentally did forget to take a little clip there of the end standings, but I got a screenshot after I took one more 150 power tile. You can see we ended top of our server power-wise after 24 hours by quite a considerable margin, around just under 1,400 power here. Shout outs to all the other guys who put up an absolutely terrific fight there. And then we're going to move on and try and win the Awaken Power event, of course, which ends after 1 week of the server. So we're going to continue trying to farm hard, and keep an eye out for that week update, and we'll see if I've won that again. Anyway, thank you everyone who's stuck through and have a watch of this. If you enjoyed, please smash the like button and let me know what you want to see in the future. And with that, I've been HJW Gaming, and I hope to see you on the next one.